Now, I do have to say that the content of this program is to provide nutritional education information only. This program is not meant to take the place of your primary care physician. The FDA requires us to let you know that our products are not meant to treat, prevent, diagnose, or cure any diseases. As empowered individuals, you do have options available, and any testimonial that is shared on this program is a testimonial that is real life, that is using the protocols and products that Dr. Wallach is recommending today. We are so honored to have one of the founding fathers of epigenetics here to guide us with the best options to obtain or maintain optimal health, Dr. Joel Wallach. Dr. Wallach, welcome, welcome, welcome.
Well, good morning, Rebecca. Good morning. Good morning, John T. Good morning, Nasima and Ruth Ellen and everybody. Really appreciate everything. And good morning, everybody here throughout the world. And I was giving a big Zoom to a big church family last night in Texas. So it gave me the opportunity and an excuse to do more research. And I have a scenario that goes back a long time to why we're in trouble as we are today. First of all, how many people have died of the pandemic virus here in the United States? Well, 411,000. 411,000. That's more than the number of soldiers buried in Arlington Cemetery from all the wars we fought. And that's in 1 year, 411,000 versus, 100 years of wars. Okay, that's very sad. So we also have 24,358,000 infections. 24,358,000 infections. Now, that's just mind-blowing when you think that we have, quote, the greatest healthcare system in the world, although we only rank 41st when it comes to longevity. There's 40 other countries whose peoples live longer than us, although we brag we have the greatest healthcare system in the world, certainly the most expensive. And so we didn't get much for distancing, 6 feet, washing our hands, and wearing a face mask. 24 million infections and 411,000 dead. And Dr. Fauci is still in position after a year of monitoring all these terrible numbers. We were only given 3% of the information we needed to survive and flourish during this pandemic. This story goes back to before 1860. This story goes back before 1860. When the pioneers first came to the United States, the Native Americans, who are the ones who are constantly pointed at, saying they're the ones who are being hit the worst in these pandemics, they were eating what was called the Three Sisters. They ate maize and Mexican corn, they ate squash, and they ate beans. And of course, during the season, they would migrate around and pick wild onions and acorns and mushrooms and things like that. And they'd fish and eat rabbits and stuff like that. And then by the 1860s, most of the land in the United States was bought up by European settlers. And so they got tired of the Native Americans going through their properties and everything. So they came up with a reservation system and gave the Indians, look, we're going to give you 100 million acres here. Well, it was usually desert land or someplace that didn't have water running through it or something like that they didn't want. But the Native Americans got their acres, 10 acres per Indian family. Well, by 1860, the Scottish were changing things for the Native Americans. Most of them who were in these reservations, they were teaching them to grow wheat and make bannock, which was a fried bread, flat bread kind of thing, kind of like a matzah for the Hebrews. But they would fry it, deep fry it in oil and animal fat, and it was called bannock. And so during the 1860s, there was this big switch from corn, beans, and squash to wheat flour, because that's what the Scottish were bringing to America and growing. And they wanted customers, and they also wanted the Native Americans to grow it so they'd have more to buy and sell and so forth. So about 1860 is when everything was a big change. In 1882, at 3 o'clock in the afternoon, Monday, September 4th, on Pearl Street in New York City in the bluff overlooking the construction of the Brooklyn Bridge, not to be too specific. Thomas Edison and Jonathan Liebs pulled the switch on the first commercial electric generating plant in the world. This is all in the CD in the book, Hell's Kitchen. We'll talk about that in a minute. And everybody was overjoyed, and they switched immediately from wood stoves and fireplaces and fire pits to electricity. And within 20, 30, 40 years, we had 40 diseases nobody had ever seen before. And because it was the genetics was the darling of the times, doctors were blaming all these new diseases as being genetic. Okay, autoimmune and genetic, because they didn't know the cause. They were all just nutritional deficiencies. And what was happening here was this. When we switched over to electricity, the Native Americans and all the small farmers, and in fact, for the first 9 years of my life, I lived on a little small farm in Missouri, and we didn't have electricity until I was 9 years old. And we were still using wood stoves and fireplaces. And every morning I'd put the wood ashes out in the gardens. Well, wood ashes weren't carbon. There were maybe 2% carbon and 98% minerals that didn't burn when you burnt the wood. We're putting the wood ashes in the garden as a fertilizer. And so when we ate the tomatoes and the carrots and the beans and the squash and the corn and potatoes and all the things that are growing in the garden, we're getting the minerals that those plants were sucking up, which came from the wood ashes. Well, at 3 o'clock in the afternoon, Monday, September 4th, 1882, on Pearl Street, that all ended. And suddenly now we're having all these problems. Okay, well, let's have a look and see what we've reaped since electricity. And of course, the history of all this is in the CD, which came out in 2005, and the book came out in 2000. Let's see, the CD came out in 2003, the book came out in 2005, Hell's Kitchen, goes into the history that I just gave you in great detail. Everybody needs to read these books. They will add 25 to 50 healthy years to your life. The new one, of course, is the red warning signal. It teaches you all the nutritional deficiencies that will set you up for the pandemic virus. Just like my clue was, why did a three-year-old get a common cold-like symptom for 3 days from the pandemic virus? Their temperature would go up from 98.6 to 99 for a half degree for 3 days, and that was it. Nobody died. When you were 63, 73, 83, you got terrible complications. You were in the hospital for 3, 4, 5, 6 months on a ventilator. Many died. Many who survived had terrible permanent side effects. Okay, well, that was because nobody's getting any nutritional minerals. And you ask a doctor, shouldn't I be supplementing? No, don't waste your money on vitamins and minerals. Just eat right, you get everything you need. Any doctor who says that should be put in jail as a serial killer. Well, when I did my research for my Texas Zoom last night, I found out that Texas has 29 million people. Texas has 29 million people. There's an Asian country called Vietnam, has 96 million people, 3 times. Now, before I go into that, I do want to mention the Ojibwe Indians, which in 1600, they moved from Florida. The Ojibways moved from Florida to upstate Minnesota, the Great Lakes area. And they had 360,000 people in their main reservation in upstate Minnesota, the Ojibways. And they have 360,000 people. They have 27 infections and 0 dead. Wait a minute, the Native Americans are supposed to be the hardest hit. Well, let's look at the Navajos in Arizona, have almost the same population, 340,000 instead of 360,000. And they have 26,000 infected, 9,000 dead. What's the difference between 9,000 dead and 0 dead? 26,000, 27,000 dead versus 27. Well, the Navajos are eating wheat, barley, rye, oats, are eating that bannock, that deep fried wheat bread. And the Ojibways, since 1600, every day for 400 years have been eating wild rice. Okay, so the Ojibways are acting like Asians. The Ojibways are the Asians of I call them the Asians of the indigenous peoples, because they live like an Asian. They live on rice and sweet potatoes. Okay, let's look at Vietnam with 96 million people versus Texas with 29 million people. Texas has 33,000 dead and 2 million infected. Vietnam, 3 times the population, has 35 dead, not 35,000, just 35 dead, okay, versus 33,000 dead. They have excuse me, 1,500 infections versus 2 million infections. Is 2 million infections more than 1,500? Well, yeah, what's going on there? Well, in Texas, everybody's eating wheat, barley, rye, and oats, oatmeal for breakfast, that bannock flatbread and deep fried bread for the Native Americans. Everybody in Texas is eating the breakfast of champions, Wheaties, and oatmeal for breakfast. They eat bread, they eat pancakes and waffles and French toast. They eat the flour tortillas, okay? Everything in Texas is wheat, barley, rye, and oats. Whereas in Vietnam, I just checked it this morning, their primary diet is the three sisters, corn, squash, and beans, and rice. And that's why they only have 35 dead and 1,500 infected. And Texas has 2 million infected and 33,000 dead. Because it changes your intestines so you cannot absorb nutrients. So why is that important? Well, your bone marrow, which is your immune system, requires nutrients to make white blood cells to go through the bloodstream to kill and eat the viruses and bacteria and fungus and yeast. Your bone marrow require these nutrients, which you have to absorb through your intestines to make stem cells, to make antibodies to go through your bloodstream to kill viruses, bacteria, and yeast. And here's my prediction. Now, you guys are listening to me. Because of the history we have with this pandemic virus now, we know the 3-year-olds do okay. So I will tell you that the kids under age 10 are going to have a predictable result from the vaccinations. Now, vaccinations do not kill viruses, bacteria, fungus, and yeast. They alert your immune system to the bad DNA, RNA, and proteins found in viruses, bacteria, and yeast. And when they show up in your body, your immune system knows to go attack them. Well, guess what? If you can't absorb nutrition to get into your bone marrow, you're going to need to go to the doctor once a month to get an iron shot and a B12 shot because you're anemic and bleeding under your skin. You may even have to go to the doctor once every month or so to get a transfusion so you can get some red blood cells and platelets. And some people, it's so serious that they give them a bone marrow transplant. Now, you've heard of people in your church and your family who go through all this, and that's not because of their age. That's not because of their genetics. It's because they've been eating wheat all their life, oatmeal for breakfast all their life. Their intestines are dead. They have a gluten problem. They can't get nutrition to their bone marrow to make defenses. And their doctors are saying, don't waste your money on vitamins and minerals. Just eat well, you get everything you need. Eat more wheat. And that's why we have the problem we have. Now, when you look at this list, that the CDC put out last year, they said the indigenous peoples, the Native Americans, the Indian tribes, are the worst hit percentage-wise. They have 133 to 168 dead, whose ever data you look at, per 100,000 infections. Second are the blacks in the United States. They have 124 to 168, depending on whose data you look at, per 100,000 infected, 124 to 168 dead. The Polynesians, which include the Alaskan Inuits. Of course, Alaskan Inuits have a very high rate of deaths and infections. They have 170,000 people, which is about half the population of the Ojibways, And the Ojibways have 27 infections and 0 dead. The Inuit Eskimos have 9,000 infections and almost 3,000 dead. Is 3,000 more than 0? Is 9,000 more than 27? Well, they list the Polynesians as the number 3 most impacted with 90 dead per 100,000 infected. And then the Latinos are next with 86, 87 to 99 dead per 100,000 because they live on flour tortillas, pan, which is bread, cerveza, which is beer, Corona beer. And then come the whites at 75 dead per 100,000, and the Asians 54, 55 dead per 100,000. And the Asians were the ones who were saying, hey, look at us. We only have 54 dead per 100,000. You know, the Asian community does everything better versus the Native Americans and the blacks and the Polynesians and the Latinos and the whites. Well, the ones who do the best are the Ojibwe Indians in upstate Minnesota. For 400 years, 400 years they've been eating wild rice and the three sisters, maize, AKA corn, beans, and potatoes. Okay. Oh, also the Asians and the Ojibwe Indians get trace minerals by eating the algae out of the lakes and the oceans and seaweed and all that kind of stuff. Whereas the Latinos don't do that. They're eating everything fried. The Navajos eat everything deep fried, including the bannock. And they even, the Ojibwe Indians even have a name for the wild rice they eat. It's called manuman. Okay, is their wild rice. You look it up, manuman, okay? And so that's why we have this huge differential between the Ojibwe Indians and all the rest of the Indians and the Latinos and the blacks. It's diet. It has nothing to do with race. It's not a racial thing. It's a diet thing, okay? And this is an inadvertent thing. The Scottish were the ones that introduced the Native Americans to wheat and changed them from corn in the 1860s. It was kind of just like when they gave the Indians the blankets from all the people who were dying of smallpox. They didn't realize there was an infectious bug there. They just thought it was evil spirits. And so they gave the blankets to the Indians. They're all dying of smallpox. This is an inadvertent thing the same way. But I hold Dr. Fauci responsible for 411,000 dead Americans and 24 million infected Americans, because all he did was say, stay 6 feet apart, wash your hands and wear a mask. He said nothing about supporting your immune system by supplementing properly for your immune system and staying away from the bad foods, which are going to interfere with absorption of these nutrients. So Dr. Fauci is responsible for 24 million infections and 411,000 dead. So I urge everybody to get the book in the CD, Hell's Kitchen. Get a hold of the book, Immortality, in the CD, From Here to Immortality, so you'll learn what the long-lived peoples do consciously to avoid the bad stuff, what they do consciously to do the good stuff. And then, of course, for the Black people, we have the Black Gene Lies book and CD. Goes into all the same stuff, diet and how it affects their immune systems and so forth. And of course, this book and the CD were paid for by Pastor Creflo Dollar, a Black pastor whose child I saved back in the Civil Rights Movement days when I was working with Dr. King, Coretta Scott King, Martin Luther King III, Andy Young, Evander Holyfield, Theo Ratliff, one of our great athletes. Theo Ratliff, he's just one of our great guys. We actually made our Rebound, our sports drink, with 100 nutrients in it. Okay, instead of the colas and everything, which is sugar and caffeine, our sports drink has 100 nutrients in it. So I'm giving a direction here. If you do all these things, we can get rid of this terrible pandemic in weeks. Now, in 1918, we had 657,000 Americans die from the Spanish flu. In October of 1918, we had 195,000 Americans die from the Spanish flu. And then, of course, in 2003 to 2005, we had the MARS, the SARS, the H1N1, and the COVID-2. All this is in the books, Hell's Kitchen, the CD, Hell's Kitchen, Black Gene Lies, the book and the CD. These things will save your lives. Contact us and add 25 to 50 healthy years to your life. Over to you.
Thank you, Dr. Wallach. And Dr. Wallach said, contact us. You want to get with the person that invited you to this program, the one that shared this program with you so that you could get the information that you're hearing today. So please get with them. They have a vested interest in you because you're either a friend or a loved one. And we want to make sure that you get your answers to the questions that you have. So, Dr. Wallach, so many.
Oh, wow. Go ahead.
So many things they want to blame on genetics, basically because they don't know.
That's right. And so, how can you fight your genetics, right? So they blame it on your genes. Now, remember, I'm the guy that found the cause, prevention, and cure of cystic fibrosis, thought to be genetic disease in kids. I'm the guy that found the cause, prevention, and cure of muscular dystrophy. I gave that to Jerry Lewis in 2011. he got so excited because we gave him about 15 charts of kids that we had cured of muscular dystrophy, including one guy who was 31 years of age. He took it to the Muscular Dystrophy Association in 2011. They fired Jerry Lewis before he walked out the door. Okay, 2 years later, he dies, I'm sure, of a broken heart. In 2015, the Muscular Dystrophy Association had to shut down the telethon because they couldn't raise a penny without Jerry Lewis. They fired him when he brought them the cause, prevention, and cure for muscular dystrophy. Now, here it comes. Here comes the greatest story of them all. April 16th, 2013, in federal courts, I won my 9th federal case against, the medical system in federal court to force the manufacturers of baby formulas like Enfamil and Similac to put that one nutrient. Dr. Milan and I went to China. We did 1,700 autopsies on kids under the age of 10 that had died of this one nutritional deficiency. They died of what's called hypertrophic cardiomyopathy heart disease, a sudden heart death that kills young athletes. So we went there, we did 1,700 autopsies. It's published in 3 languages. The English version is in the Biology of Trace Element Research. We did the research in 1988. It was published in 1990. And so the court couldn't fight 1,700 autopsies, 35% had cystic fibrosis, 100% had muscular dystrophy, and 200 of them would have been diagnosed with Sedimentary syndrome here in the United States. And only 2%, when we did the research, only 2% of the babies that were diagnosed with Sedimentary syndrome were in bed with their mothers when they died. 98% were in their cribs. So they changed the name from sudden death syndrome to crib death. That's why they changed it, because I found that they were all dying in the cribs, not in the bed with their mothers. They were saying that because they didn't know the answer. Well, they died of this one nutritional deficiency. And again, April 16th, 2013, the federal courts forced Similac, Enfamil, and all the other baby formulas to put that nutrient in there. Doctors had been fighting me for 25 years. You can't put that nutrient in baby formulas because it will kill the baby. That nutrient is poisonous. Well, they forced him to put it in there. A year and a half later, September 13th, 2014, big headlines on the front page of the Charlotte Observer, the big newspaper in Charlotte, North Carolina, kind of like the New York Times for New York. I mean, this is like the Third World War, big bold letters. We don't know why, but Sedimentary syndrome has vanished in the state of North Carolina. 3 months later, in the St. Louis Post-Dispatch and all the newspapers in the state of Missouri, we don't know why, but Sedimentary syndrome has vanished in the state of Missouri. Then 3 months later, we don't know why. Every newspaper in the world said, we don't know why, but Sedimentary syndrome diagnoses has dropped dramatically by 85 to 95%. Well, that's because I had forced those manufacturers of baby formulas to put that nutrient in there. And it was just a simple nutritional deficiency of all those babies dying of Sedimentary syndrome, AKA crib death. Okay. So I'm very, very proud of that. And so that's, think about that. Think about that. Rebecca.
Yes, sir.
Think about that. Have you heard much about Sedimentary syndrome or muscular dystrophy or cystic fibrosis in the last 5 years?
No.
8 years?
5 years? No, not at all.
That's because I eliminated it.
Well, you know what? I know myself as a grandparent, am very thankful for that. So I just, Dr. Wallach, all that you have done has been all to help people.
Yeah, and I apologize for having to brag about it, but even though it's been published in all these medical journals, doctors, they just shake their head and go drink a beer or something and don't say anything. Okay, I did get one award for that. I did speak to the United Nations twice. I did get the Klaus Schwab Gold Medal Award in 2011. For these studies. I'm very proud of that. It's kind of like in the world of alternative health, the Klaus Schwarz Gold Medal is kind of like the Nobel Prize. So very, very proud of that. But the doctors don't say these things. So I have to say them. And of course, I'm urging people to get a hold of the book Epigenetics and the 2 CD set Epigenetics that goes along with it. Okay. Because my thesis, which was a $25 million study. That was a lot of money back in 1967. $25 million was a lot of money. They gave that to me. NIH gave me $25 million to do the study. I did 20,000 autopsies in 10 years. The data is in the Smithsonian Institute as a national treasure. Does your physician have a thesis in the Smithsonian Institute as a national treasure? Because I showed very clearly, unimpeachably, that there are no genetically transmitted diseases. There are no genetically transmitted birth defects. They're all nutritional problems. And that's why I, along with Bruce Lipton, the two of us are considered the two fathers of the science of epigenetics, which has replaced genetics. There are no genetic diseases. Get over it. Well, my doctor says my diabetes is genetic. And when you look at the Pima Indians in Arizona, 46% of them have type 2 diabetes. You look at the Pima Indians in Mexico, only 4% have type 2 diabetes. Same genetics. So the ones in Mexico have 4% type 2 diabetes. The ones in Arizona have 46% type 2 diabetes. So what's going on there? Well, the ones in Arizona are living on bannock, that deep fried wheat bread, and they live in a place which has none of those minerals in the soil. And the Mexican Pima Indians, on their reservation, they tend to have those minerals in the soil, and they're eating corn and beans and squash. The Three Sisters, they've stayed on the Three Sisters diet, and they're getting some of those minerals. So they only have 4% type 2 diabetes. And the Pima Indians in Arizona who switched over to bannock, okay, which is the deep fried wheat bread, and they don't have those minerals in the soil there, they have 46% type 2 diabetes. And we're working on a big project. In the next couple of weeks, I'll be licensed in the state of Arizona. We will get rid of the type 2 diabetes in the Pima Indians in Arizona in a month. And we're very, very proud of that. And I'm giving you that forecast.
That's awesome. That's awesome. I look forward to that. I am from Arizona and have many friends that are of the Pima Indian tribe.
So you know
Thank
what I'm
you so
talking
much.
about.
Yes, I do. Yes, I do. Well, Dr. Wallach, we have a couple of hands up, and I do want people to realize that we want you to show your face so Dr. Wallach can see you and get an idea of what's going on, because there's so much that can be seen with a picture. And if you do not have audio, you must connect your audio, use your device audio, as there's no way that we would be able to hear what's going on. So I see a couple people with their hands up that have that going on. And we don't want to overlook you, but if we can't hear you and we can't see you, then there's no way that we're able to provide you the information that you need today. So Dr. Wallach, let's go to the first hand up. And again, I just want to remind everybody, you can go to Ask Doc Live. You will find all the recordings of our Ask Doc Live programs since we started this program in July. You will also find a store there that has Dr. Wallach's books, and also a store that has the products that Dr. Wallach is recommending today. So without further ado, we're going to go to Candy, who has her hand up, and I know she just had her camera on. Candy, if you could go ahead and unmute yourself. I just sent you a request.
Hello?
Fantastic. You are on live with Dr. Wallach.
Is it me? Hello?
Yes, ma'am. That's you.
Oh, hello, Dr. Wallach. First of all, I wanted to thank you very much because you saved my life many years ago. I can't hear you. I don't know why, but I'm going to speak real quick because I know we need to get to the point.
Stop.
Hold on, Candy.
Yes.
Hold on.
Okay.
Go ahead.
Okay, I can't hear you.
Okay. All I see is an okay sign on my screen here. The host is not allowing participants to unmute themselves. Okay, so I cannot see anything. I just see this big white sign.
Okay, just click OK, Dr. Wallach, and then you should see her picture.
Okay, now I see her. Now I see her.
There we go. All right, go ahead,
Candy. I can't
hear
you, though. I don't know why.
Just turn the volume up on your phone.
On my phone. Well, it's
now
all the way up.
Now can you hear me? Now can you hear me?
No, but
you'll be able to
I can barely hear you.
Candy.
But anyway, I'm going to tell you, thank you very much, Dr. Wallach. Can you hear me?
Yes,
I can hear you, yes.
Okay, thank you very much. 6 years ago, I met you in Arizona. I live in Texas. I flew over there to one of your conferences, and I had a terrible case of asthma. I did everything you told me to do. I took the 2 healthy brain and heart, everything that you told me to do, and I'm still doing it. I'm a healthy 70-year-old with no underlying conditions now. And my question to you is, I'm being pressured by my daughter to take the vaccine. And I want to know what your opinion is about that vaccine and whether I should take it and whether you are going to take it. Now I'm going to listen to you closer to the phone.
Okay, well, I'm in a mess here. Okay.
Let me,
Well, you're fine, Candy. Just a minute.
okay, hold on. Hello?
I just sent you a request to start your video again, Dr. Wallach.
Okay.
Can you see me now? Hear me? No?
Uh-oh, we lost him. Okay, so Candy, hold that thought. He's going to be right back, and we'll come right back to you. So during this time, I just want to thank everybody for joining us. We apologize for the technical difficulties that we are experiencing. We will get this rectified quickly. Again, we want you to get back with the person that invited you to this program. If you were not invited to this program and you're interested in getting information, but you do not know what to take, you can do a reply to the email that you received that gave you the invitation to this program. And we have some certified holistic health coaches there that are able to help you in determining what is the best protocol for you. Okay. And then, of course, go to ask.live.com. We have the store there. And Dr. Wallach, he is back. All right, Dr. Wallach, you should be able to unmute yourself. Dr. Wallach, if you can hear me, you should be able to unmute yourself now. Oh, he got bumped out again. All right, so let's go ahead and continue.
Real quick, Rebecca, I'm
Yes,
sorry to
ma'am.
interrupt, but Candy, if you can hear me, if you have earbuds or headphones or something like that, can you get those and plug them into your phone? And then when Doc comes back, we'll be able to hear you and you'll be able to hear us. Perfect. Thank you.
Hey, Dr. Wallach, you should be able to unmute yourself. I just sent you a request to unmute.
Hello? Hello?
We hear you great, Candy. Thank you
Oh.
so much. Can you hear us now?
Yes, I can hear you now.
Fantastic. So Dr. Wallach, you see the request to unmute yourself and you can just click on okay or yes. Thank you everybody for your patience. All right, there we
Okay.
go. Dr. Wallach, welcome back.
Okay. Okay. Now, every time I hit this okay thing for your host is not allowing you to participate, it shuts me off.
So you're a co-host. I don't understand why you would be getting that
The
error.
screen is just totally covered with this sign that says your host is not allowing participants to unmute. So I can't see anything. I just see that big white sign.
Okay, so, and I know last time you clicked okay and then you were able to see Candy. So try that.
Briefly. Okay, I'll try one more time. Okay, see her now. Don't anybody
All
touch
right.
anything.
Perfect. And now she can hear you as well.
I can
So,
hear you now. Yes, doctor.
Okay.
Go ahead.
Okay.
Okay, real quick, Dr. Wallach, thank you so much. I wanted to give you my heartfelt appreciation because 6 years ago I met you in Arizona. You cured me totally from asthma. I did everything you told me to do to the T, the 2 Healthy Brain and Heart Packs, and I've added a lot of other supplements to that over the years, listening to you on Coast to Coast AM. So anyway, my question to you, and I have a conundrum with this. My daughter is pressuring me to take that darn coronavirus vaccine. And I have a very good immune system. I'm a 70-year-old, healthy 70-year-old, that I don't feel like I need to take that vaccine. What is your opinion? Would you take it?
Okay, I have two questions first, okay?
Yeah,
Number
sure.
one, do you have any varicose veins or spider veins in your legs?
No.
Okay, because you still have some gray hair, which is caused by But stop. It's not age. It's not age. It's a deficiency that's causing that.
I got it.
Okay. And so people can get varicose veins, they get capillary stuff, spider veins, hemorrhoids, those kind of things. Do you have any skin issues, any eczema, dermatitis, psoriasis?
No, I don't.
Okay. No high blood pressure, no diabetes?
Nope.
Okay. Now, here's what's going to happen with the vaccine. Now, you've heard it here today, and Rebecca, you're recording this, correct?
Yes, sir, absolutely.
Okay, now, we all know the story about the 3-year-olds who get the pandemic virus. They get common cold-like symptoms for 3 days. Their temperature goes up a half a degree. It's not even a fever. In 3 days' time, they're perfectly all right. They got all their antibodies, they're immune to it. 63-year-old, 73-year-old has serious problems and troubles if they get the pandemic virus. Many will die. Many will go to the hospital and they'll be there 3, 4, 5, 6 months on ventilators and they'll die, or if they come out, they're permanently damaged and so forth. So what's the difference between a 3-year-old and a 63-year-old and a 73-year-old and an 80-year-old? Well, the 3-year-old's only been eating gluten for 3 years, so they only have about 25% damage to their intestines, whereas 63, 73, 80-year-old have been eating gluten for 60, 70, 80 years, and they have 95% damage to their intestines. And even if they supplement, they're not going to absorb much, and that's why they have bleeding under their skin, they're anemic, and they have to get iron shots and B12 shots and everything. Well, here's my prediction. The vaccination is not going to hurt anybody. It's not going to kill anybody. I mean, they've tested it and tested it and tested it. I guarantee you the vaccine is not going to hurt anybody. So if you want to take it, take it. It's not going to hurt you. But here's what's going to happen. The kids under age 10 are going to get the predicted, expected, hoped for results of the vaccine. It's going to protect them against infection and death from the pandemic virus. But people who are middle-aged, 50 and above, and seniors 65 and above are going to have a highly variable result of the vaccination. The ones who are living on wheat, brown, rye, and oats, oatmeal for breakfast, flour tortillas for lunch, spaghetti for dinner, beer every afternoon, beer on the weekends, okay? Gluten all their life, and they haven't given it up. They're not going to have a very good result. They're going to, well, why did my mom die of the pandemic virus? She was vaccinated 3 months ago. Well, that's because her bone marrow is dead, because her intestines are dead, because she's been living on gluten. Couldn't absorb the nutrients. That's why. Okay. So the older people and the middle-aged people are going to get a variable result. Whereas all I hear is church bells.
Hello, I lost you.
We still hear you, Candy.
Okay, I hear church bells.
Oh,
are we going to heaven?
Can you hear me,
I hear
Dr.
Yes, I hear
you.
Dr.
Wallach. Yes.
Okay. What about I read that changes your DNA, your RNA.
Have you ever heard of the science called crapola?
No.
Okay. Yeah, well, that's crapola. It's not going to change your DNA or RNA.
No.
Okay. What it does is it tells your bone marrow stem cells, you need to watch out for. No. Okay. Shh. You can watch out for this DNA and RNA in these bugs because they will kill you. But your body's not going to be able to recognize it because it's not getting the nutrition from your intestines because you're eating gluten. That's the problem.
All right. Thank you so much, Dr. Wallach. I think that answered that question completely. So we appreciate that information. I get that question a lot.
Yeah, Candy's going to have to go online and view it because she keeps asking to hear it again.
Right. So let's go ahead and I've got a question here in the comments, Dr. Wallach. This is an individual that's new to hearing you, and they are wanting to know why no oats when they say that oats are gluten-free. Now, you've got a degree in agriculture.
That's
and
correct.
You've got a lot of information in regards to plant science and the makeup of these grains. So share with us why no gluten or why no oats.
Because oats have gluten in them.
It's just a different name, right?
Yeah. Okay. There is gluten in oats. There are every oat grain has gluten in it.
All right. Now, let's go to Jane, who has her hand up. Jane, go ahead and unmute yourself.
Hi.
So welcome back, Jane. I know you've got a great story going on. So go ahead and share with us.
Absolutely. I have one quick question. I'm now into month 4 and I'm taking and I'm feeling so much better. I'm continuing. I'm taking the one of the Brain and Healthy Heart Pack 2.0, 2 selenium bottles, 1 MSM, the 15 glucogel a day, and then the classic, the 2 bottles of classic for the high blood pressure. And that seems to all be getting better. There's no question about it. And the one thing, 2 things I have, and I think hopefully it'll just continue to get better, but I suddenly have very cold hands. And it's very annoying. I'm sitting here with gloves.
Okay, stop. Okay, now let me ask you a question. Do you get drowsy an hour after you eat?
Well, I'm taking more vitamins than
No,
food.
no,
Let's see.
no. It's either yes or no. Do you get drowsy an hour after you eat?
I might.
Okay, yeah, that's called reactive hypoglycemia. Are you taking sweeties?
No, I'm not.
Take 3 sweeties twice a day, and you're taking the Ultimate Daily Classic tablets. Take 3 of those twice a day. Okay, so 3 of the Ultimate Daily Classic tablets twice a day, 3 of the sweeties twice a day. And when people, when their blood pressure goes down, their blood sugar goes down, you're not getting the heat and all the stuff out into your digits, your fingers, your toes, your feet. So they begin to get cold. Okay. And back in the old days, a couple hundred years ago, that used to be called narcolepsy. Okay, look up narcolepsy. Oh, people, they get drowsy during the middle of the day when they should be alert and working and blah, blah, blah. That's because they have what's called reactive hypoglycemia. Because when you eat a meal, your body releases insulin, okay, and it knocks your blood sugar down. And if you don't have everything perfect, your blood sugar will go down too much and you go to sleep. And people say, why did Frank cross the center line? He doesn't drink alcohol. He crossed the center line and died in a head-on crash with somebody. It was in the middle of the day. It was 3 o'clock in the afternoon. Well, he had lunch at 1 o'clock. And he went to sleep while he was driving and crossed the center line, did a head-on collision because he had narcolepsy, AKA reactive hypoglycemia, AKA a deficiency of sweeties.
I think that makes sense because I guess I'm very tired. I've been sleeping a lot, which would
well, there you go.
There it is. I've really been tired a lot. Feeling well. Yeah, that's it. Yep.
Now, is your hair color coming back?
Yes, it is. It's, I don't know.
Yeah, I can see that. Do you have a history of varicose veins or hemorrhoids?
The hemorrhoids, yes.
Okay, now hemorrhoids are varicose veins in a funny place in your colon, right? And sometimes they bleed, sometimes they don't. Sometimes they hang out, sometimes they don't. But hemorrhoids are varicose veins like you have in your legs. It's the same thing. You got to break down the elastic fibers in the vein walls. It's the same deficiency that causes gray hair. So I can look at an audience, so I'm speaking to 1,000 people, and I can see, say, 50 to 75 to 150 people out of 1,000 people with white gray hair. I'll say, okay, everybody with gray hair who has varicose veins stand up. And every one of them stands up because I know they got varicose veins because it's the same deficiency. Okay, but your hemorrhoids will go away as your hair color comes back. The hemorrhoids will go away. Stay away from a proctologist. Let him do surgery on himself.
Oh goodness. Oh, goodness. Yeah,
Thank
I
you.
noticed a big difference in Jane's hair. It's definitely
Yeah.
different, for
Yeah.
sure. Look at all that. That's
Thank you
fabulous.
for sharing your story.
Thank you.
Thank you, Jane. Now, Dr. Wallach, Donald has a question. Age 63, weight is 213 pounds, height is 5'9". He exercises a lot, like 6 days a week, and he's trying to lose weight because he wants to get to 170. What does he need to do?
You say his name is Dean?
Don.
Oh, Don. Okay. Don. Okay. Yeah. Okay. Well, so I got to, let's see, yeah, at 5'9", I'd like to see him weigh 175 kind of thing. So he could lose maybe 40, 50 pounds. Okay. No problem. And so I apologize. Did he have any other issues? Any high blood pressure, diabetes, anything like that? Arthritis?
He doesn't mention that he has any other. Let me see.
He just
if
wants to lose the weight.
he wants to lose the weight. Yes.
Okay, so let's get him on 2 healthy brain and heart packs per month, a full dose of everything twice a day. I want him to get rid of all the bad foods, fried foods, processed meats, oils, and glutens, wheat, bread, rye, and oats, no sugar. I want him to get the keto caramel meals, the shake and the bar. I want him to have 2 or 3 meals a day, a keto meal. Only the shake or the bar, nothing else. Only the third meal, and it doesn't have to be the same meals all the time, but only his third meal could be real food. And of course, his real food should be a baked sweet potatoes and a couple of soft-boiled eggs. Should be his real food on that one meal. His other 2 meals will be a shake or a bar, or a keto caramel bar or shake, not both of them at the same meal. And he'll lose a half a pound to 2 pounds a day. So within a month or 2, he'll be down to where he wants to be. And he could then cut his keto meals to 1 meal a day, okay, for a month or so, while his body adjusts. But he does need to stay away from the bad foods forever. No fried foods, no processed meats, no oils, no glutens, no wheat, bread, rye, oats, no sugar. But this is a very simple scenario, and we would like to hear back from him because it's such a common scenario that everybody would like to hear his story.
Absolutely. And just so everybody knows, those keto shakes come in strawberry and chocolate and are just wonderful. Something that I have at least once a day. And
how much weight have you lost?
95 pounds, Dr. Wallach.
And you're beautiful.
Thank you. Thank you. I'm aging backwards. I love that. I love that. All right. So Steve is writing in, and Steve has a good friend. She is 68 years old, 135 pounds, 5'4". She has a past medical trouble with diverticulitis and is a breast cancer survivor. A recent MRI shows a growth on the kidney, but it appears to be non-cancerous. There's high levels of creatine showing in her blood work. She looks and acts healthy. She doesn't have any other health conditions, but she can't sleep. So she's wanting some advice, or he's wanting some advice to share with her on what she can do.
Okay, number 1, she needs to get rid of all the bad foods, which, participated in causing the cancer and all that kind of stuff. So she needs to get rid of the fried foods, the processed meats, the oils, the glutens, wheat, bread, rye, oats, and sugar. That's forever. She can never go back to that, but she needs to get rid of all those things. You say she weighs 132 pounds?
135 pounds.
135 pounds. Okay, can't read my own writing here. 135 pounds. And 135 pounds at 5'4" is about right for a lady. Okay. And because she has a history of cancer, I would also have her get another bottle of our selenium. So she can take 3 of those twice a day, not from Walgreens, because ours has 5 cofactors in it, which are very important to her for her immune system. And because she has inflammatory things going on and kidney issues, I want her to get the 2 bottles a month of the Ultimate Daily Classic tablets. So I can shake 3 of those twice a day. That'll support kidney function and kidney health. But I also want her to take our Fucoid Z capsules, take 3 of those twice a day. That's going to give her anti-inflammatory properties plus support the immune system. I also want her to take our Ocean's Gold, take 3 of those twice a day. That also has extracts from seaweed and algae and stuff like that. That's going to support her immune system. Take 3 of those twice a day. It's 2 bottles a month. And then we have a product called Sleep Ease. she could take the sleepies a half hour before bed, take a dose of that before bed, half hour before bedtime. Also, I would like her to take our Hemp FX Relax. Our Hemp FX Relax, she could squirt a couple of droppers full of that down her throat, also a half hour before bedtime. And Relax has, it's the CBD oil, but it has other herbs added to it to help her sleep. Okay. And when I've been, driving all night and all this kind of stuff, and I can't afford to stay awake for 2 hours before I go to sleep, I'll take the Sleep Ease and also the Hemp FX Relax. Okay. And boy, it puts you right to sleep. And so these are the sort of things I want her to do. And I want her to call us every 2 weeks or have Steve call us and give us a report on her, because she's going to have a great story.
Yes, she is. Yes, she is. Awesome. Thank you so much, Dr. Wallach. Now let's go to Jesse, who's waiting with his hand up. Jesse, go ahead and unmute yourself. You are on live with Dr. Wallach.
Hi, Dr. Wallach. Good morning. And
Good morning, sir.
Thank you for
Thank
everything
you.
do.
Thank you.
My question is on behalf of my wife and I. We just found out that she's pregnant. She's 6 weeks pregnant, sorry, and we're going to be having a baby. And so I wanted to ask you advice on prenatal vitamins, and specifically her doctors is worried that the Tangy Tangerine may have a too high of a level of vitamin A, which I know you've heard before. So
Okay, she should change doctors immediately.
Yes.
Okay, now here's why I'm saying that. Has she been on prenatal vitamins?
She has not. She has been on the Healthy Body
Okay.
Pack for the last about 5 years.
Oh, that's good. Okay, so she has been getting supplements for 5 years. Okay, good.
Yes.
All right. So, and what does she weigh?
She weighs about 140 pounds, and she's
140.
29 years old.
Okay, yeah. So she's taking the Healthy Body Pack. She's taking 1 full dose a day or 2 doses a day or what?
She's taking 1 full dose a day.
Okay, good. All right, and she's 6 weeks pregnant. Now, has she been gluten-free?
Yes, she has been.
Okay, beautiful. So she's in good shape, actually. So she needs to stay on that program, but I would kind of ramp her up. Instead of the Healthy Body Pack, I'd have her take the Healthy Brain and Heart Pack. I would kind of go up to the next step. Okay. But the fact that she's been taking supplements, this is not going to be a shock to her or the baby, because she's already taken supplements. But at 6 weeks of pregnancy, as the baby gets bigger and bigger, it's going to require more. Does she plan on breastfeeding this baby?
She does. Yes.
Okay, good. Yeah, I'd have her move up to 1 Healthy Brain and Heart Pack at breakfast. And you say she weighs 140 pounds. Okay, well, what I would do then is give her a half of a Healthy Brain and Heart Pack for breakfast and a half of the Healthy Start Pack, the Healthy Body Pack at dinner time. And then in another couple of weeks, switch her over to 2 Healthy Brain and Heart Packs. Okay, but give her a half of a Healthy Brain and Heart Pack now at breakfast, and continue what she's taking at dinner time. And then in a week or so, switch her over to 2 Healthy Brain and Heart Packs, because she's going to be eating for 2 as the baby grows here. Okay, and 6 weeks pregnant, the baby's kind of half there. And how old are you when you're born?
How old am I when I'm born? 0.
No, you're 9 months old.
9 months old.
Born.
Yeah. Yes.
Okay, at birth date plus 3 months, you're already a year old.
Correct. Yes.
Okay, so when your first birthday comes, how old are you? You're already 2 years old when your first birth date comes, because your birth date is not how old you are. It's an event in your lifespan.
Right.
Your birth date is an event in your lifespan, which occurs around 9 months of age.
Okay.
So when your first birthday occurs, okay, it's an anniversary of your birth date. You're really 2 years old.
Correct.
Isn't that crazy?
Yes.
Okay. So the fact that your wife has been taking these nutrients for 5 years, you say, how long has she been gluten-free?
About 5 years also, pretty much as soon as we
beautiful.
your work.
Now, does she eating rice and sweet potatoes or beans or corn? What is she eating?
Rice and sweet potatoes, and the other source of carbs would probably be corn tortillas.
Okay, beautiful, beautiful. So well done, well done. Okay, well, that's where I would go, and keep us informed. It's going to be a beautiful story. Thank you so much. I'm assuming your wife doesn't have any varicose veins or gray hair or anything like that?
She does not.
Okay, beautiful. Congratulations, and thank you so much for your story. Let's hear from you on a regular basis, Jesse.
Thank you so much, Dr. Wallach.
You
Appreciate
bet.
it.
God bless.
That's fantastic, Jesse. Congratulations to you and your wife. That's awesome.
Isn't that a beautiful story?
We're working on a generation that's going to live to 120, Dr. Wallach.
Yes, well, that's
Or
that's a
longer.
start. That's a start, because when you look at the longest lived cultures on Earth, they live in a place between Pakistan and China, okay, in the Hunza Valley near the Giltar Glacier. Their average lifespan is 165. We know this story because in 1928, the New York Times sent their most vicious investigative reporter, James Hilton, like the Hilton Hotels, James Hilton, to Hunza, because there was a Chinese doctor by the name of Li Chen Yun running around lecturing, claiming he was 265 years old. So the New York Times said, we're gonna roast this guy. So James Hilton goes there. He spends a year following this guy and tracking him and fingerprinting him and fingerprinting places he'd been 50 years, 75 years earlier, and finding his fingerprints and everything. And sure enough, he writes the New York Times back in 1929 and says, hey, this guy's real. This is true. And it was a big front page news story. Are you still there? Yeah. Okay.
Yep, we're still here. Go ahead.
Okay. Big front page news story in the New York Times. And he wrote a book called Lost Horizon based on that story, where people lived on an average to be 165 and 200, 300 years of age and longer. And it became a movie in 1933 by the same title, Lost Horizon. And there's, all these long-lived people came from a place called Shangri-La. And everybody thought that was a mythical place. Well, that valley of Shangri-La is where all these long-lived people really live, okay? Their average lifespan is 165 because they live on the water coming out from underneath the Giltar Glacier, which has 84 minerals in it.
Now, they're living that long without all of the different things that are going on now when it comes to poor health conditions.
Okay, well, here's what's going to happen. In the next week, I'm going to be doing research on the Huns of people up there. That's all I'm going to do for the next week. And so you're going to have the story of stories next Friday.
Awesome. That's fantastic. Well, Dr. Wallach, we're at the top of the hour, so let's go ahead and take 5 minutes.
Okay.
And everybody stay on. Don't go anywhere. We will be right back with the Ask Doc Live program sponsored by AskDocLive.com. All right. Thank you, everybody, for sticking in with us during that short break. This is the Ask Doc Live show, and we appreciate you all being here and being empowered when it comes to your own health and the health of those that you love and appreciate in your life. If you have never spoken to anybody about longevity, nobody referred you to this program, and you were wanting to get what information or what products would be the right fit for you, we do have a call team that's standing by to take your call, and they can be reached at 855-949-radio. That's 855-949-7234. So Dr. Wallach is coming back on, and we are gonna go ahead and get started. Welcome back, Dr. Wallach. I'm gonna ask you to unmute, please. So go ahead and unmute yourself. Perfect.
I did that. Okay.
Yes, absolutely. So I have a question that's been written in.
Okay.
And Karen is inquiring about stage 3 endometrial cancer. And this is after having a hysterectomy. There's no other health conditions, 62 years old, 170 pounds, 5'6" tall.
Okay, now stage 3, that means it's gone to other organs of the body, right? It's gone
Okay.
to other places. It's in her lymph nodes or something. Okay, that's why she's still concerned about it. And again, you have to appreciate that cancer is caused by diet. It's not a genetic thing. It's not happens just because, okay? It's caused by eating fried foods, processed meats, oils, and glutens. And not taking the things that give your body its defense.
Right.
Okay, can you hear me okay?
I hear you fantastically.
Okay, well, here's what I apologize. What's this lady's name?
Well, Karen is writing in, so I don't know if it's specifically Karen or if she's writing in for somebody else.
Okay, so it's Karen or her friend. Okay. Okay, well,
Correct.
this lady was stage 3 cancer. I don't care if it's breast cancer, uterine cancer, it doesn't matter. Okay. 170 pounds. She needs to get rid of all the bad foods, things that puts pressure on her immune system. Absolutely no fried foods, no processed meats, no oils, no glutens, no wheat, bran, rhinos, no sugar. Maximize absorption and nutrition. At 170 pounds, I want her to take 2 healthy brain and heart packs per month, a full dose everything twice a day. 2 healthy brain and heart packs. That's our biggest hammer in the toolbox. And then I want her to take things that are going to support her immune system. I want her to take 3 of our Fucoid Z capsules 3 times a day. It'll be 3 bottles a month of our Fucoid Z. Take 3 at breakfast, 3 at lunch, 3 at dinner time. Okay, and that's made from a brown marine algae. It has all these weird trace minerals and things in there that support the immune system. I want her to take our Ocean's Gold. Take 3 of those 3 times a day. I don't have cancer, but I do that, and I only weigh 142 pounds, okay? Because I want all those trace minerals that are found in those algae from the ocean. Then I also want her, because of what's going on with the pandemic, I want her to take, and also support her immune system, is our killer biotic. I want her to take 2 doses of killer biotic a day, a full dose at breakfast, full dose at dinner time, support her immune system. And then I want her to use our colloidal silver. I want her to take 2 droppers full in her mouth orally, a half hour before breakfast, half hour before lunch, half hour before dinner time, and a half hour before bedtime, our colloidal silver. Again, that's going to kill bugs, take the load off her immune system, so her immune system can devote its full time to defending her against the cancer. But it's imperative that she stay away from all the bad stuff so she can absorb. No fried foods, no processed meats, no oils, no gluten, no wheat, bran, oats. Okay. And then anytime she goes to the doctor, we need to get some feedback so we can know how to tweak this and help her. But what I want to do is give you another couple of pieces of information here before we go to another caller. Is that okay?
That's fine. Go ahead.
Okay. Again, I want to compare our state of Arizona with Hong Kong. Both the state of Arizona and Hong Kong have 7.5 million people. And Hong Kong has just short of 10,000 infections of the pandemic virus. Arizona has 685,000. It's 10,000 less than 685,000.
A fraction.
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay. And then Hong Kong has 166 dead, 166 dead from the pandemic virus. Arizona has 11,000 dead. Okay. Now, let's go to Florida and Taiwan. Both of them have 22 million people. Taiwan, an Asian country, in Florida, which has mixed Latinos, Black, Native Americans, and whites. Okay. Thailand and Florida both have like 22 million people. Taiwan has 7 dead and 870 infections. Florida has 1,600,000 infections and 25,000 dead.
That's like 1,000%.
Yeah, is 25,000 more than 7? Is 1.6 million more than 870?
Huge difference,
Okay.
Dr. Wallach.
Huge difference.
It's all
Okay.
diet.
Yeah, it's all diet because the Taiwanese are living on rice and sweet potatoes and corn and sweet, okay, whereas the people in Florida are living on wheat, oats. They're living on gluten-free oats because they believed it. There are no such things as gluten-free oats, okay?
Right.
The people in Florida are living on oats and barley and rye and oats and, flour tortillas and spaghetti, pancakes for breakfast, oatmeal for breakfast. It's just when it makes you throw up. I'll give you one more here. Let's look at one more. Let's look at the UK, which is the biggest gluten eater of anybody. They're the ones that spread wheat around the world, the English, the UK, United Kingdom. It's England, Northern Ireland, Scotland, and from Wales. They have 67 million people, and Thailand has 67 million people. The UK has 3.5 million infections. Thailand has 12,000. 3.5 million infections versus 12,000. The UK has 91,000 dead. 91,000 dead from the pandemic. Thailand has 71. Is 71 less than 91,000?
Just a little bit.
Okay. Is 12,000 less than 3.5 million?
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay.
Dr. Wallach, it's diet. I don't understand why people can't understand that.
Because they listen to their doctor who says, you got to have a vaccination because it's a viral infection. Okay, well, what does your immune system need? Well, your immune system needs nutrition. You cannot get nutrition if your intestines are all dead because the villi are all dead and your intestines are like a plastic tube because you've been eating gluten all your life. That's why 3-year-olds, when they get the pandemic virus, they get common cold-like symptoms for 3 days. Their temperature goes up. Can't even class it as a fever because their temperature goes up from 98.6 to 99. And after 3 days, they're perfectly normal. They have all their antibodies. They're good to go. But a 63-year-old, a 73-year-old, and an 83-year-old, they've been eating gluten for 60, 70, 80 years. Their intestines no longer have those villi. Now they're going to the doctors every month for an iron shot and a B12 shot because they can't make red blood cells. They're anemic and they have bleeding under their skin. And then also they have all these terrible things going on with such terrible bleeding. They have to go in once a month or two to get a transfusion. So they get platelets. And when it's really, really bad, and the doctor has kids in college and tuition is due, he's going to recommend that you get a bone marrow transplant because you have dysplasia in your bone marrow. You're just getting old. You have to expect these things when you get old. No, that's crapola science. You're getting that because you've been eating gluten for 70 years and no vitamins and minerals.
So since we're on the topic, Dr. Wallach, I have a friend, 50 years old, was in the hospital and hospitalized for this pandemic. And she's now out. We've got her on the supplementation. She's feeling, she's like, I don't know why it took me so long to listen, but thank you. But she's still having a little bit of problems with some fogginess and breathing, keeping her oxygen levels up.
Okay.
What can we add?
Okay, well, first of all, we need to make sure that she and her spouse, renter, roommate, caregiver, dog, cat, bird, fish, grandkids, everybody's got to be drop dead gluten-free. So there's no cross-contamination in the laundry, the food preparation surfaces, the beds, the couches, the rugs, right? Then, how much does she weigh?
She's now at about 175 pounds.
Okay,
she's
she needs
lost about 100 pounds.
Oh, good for her. Okay, yeah, you're a good teacher, dear. She needs to take 2 healthy brain and heart packs per month. She needs the killer biotic, 3 of those with each meal, because of the pandemic thing going on. And then I'd have her take the Fucoid Z, take 3 of those with each meal to support her immune system, right? And she needs the Ultimate Daily Classic tablets, 3 of those twice a day to get circulation into her brain. And if she wants some energy, we have a sports drink called Rebound. Comes in 12-ounce cans, and she could drink 2 of those a day. I wouldn't have her drink one of them after 3 o'clock because she'll be up all night. I weigh 142 pounds, and I could drink 2 of those a day. But if I drink one, say at 5 o'clock, I'm up all night. So when I'm going to do all night research, I drink one at 5 o'clock. Okay, but she can take the Rebound. And then, of course, we also have another Hemp FX product, okay, called, let's see here. It has all these energy herbs in it, okay. It's called Let's see here. It's the energy one. Huh?
Uplift. Hemp Effects Uplift.
Uplift. Thank you. That's why I love you. You're not only beautiful, you're smart. Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay. Thank you, Nasima. Yeah, Uplift. Okay. And so take that, okay, during the day. And it will, as the name implies, it will give you that uplift. Okay. And it's one of those things where there's no THC in it, so it's legal in all states. And it's one of those things where you have to make sure you're absorbing everything.
Right. And that's gluten, getting rid of gluten and fried foods and all the bad foods is the first step.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
What do they roll fried chicken in before they fry it?
Flour.
Uh-huh.
Yep. And let's go back to a question that has to do with somebody who is pregnant. Now, some of our products have some amazing mushrooms in them, Dr. Wallach, and her doctor is saying to stay away from them. So like our microbiome is an amazing digestive support. And because it has like lion's mane in it, her doctor is saying stay away from it. I want to know what my doctor says.
Mm-hmm.
So Dr. Wallach, tell me.
Well, mushrooms in of themselves are not bad. You want to stay away from THC containing marijuana during pregnancy, that kind of stuff.
Right. None of the psychedelics.
Yeah.
None of the magic mushrooms.
I think there's actually mushrooms in the Garden of Eden.
Okay. Well.
How far along is she in pregnancy?
She's in her first trimester.
Yeah. Yeah. I haven't seen anything in any of the literature that says these sort of nutritional mushrooms have anything in them that are related. Believe me, it'd be screaming headlines in the newspapers if they were related to any birth defects. I haven't seen any of that. People have been eating mushrooms since the days of the Garden of Eden.
Right. Thank you so much. Now, Sherry has commented, she's a 29-year-old female, only 99 pounds. She's been gluten-free for 9 months. She has uterus cancer, and she wants to know, I guess they're recommending to remove her uterus. She also has rheumatoid arthritis and essential thrombocytis, high platelets, pain in the pelvis and abdomen. She doesn't want to do a painful biopsy. What would you recommend for her to get started on, Dr. Wallach?
Okay, well, you say she weighs 99 pounds. Well, first of all, she should get a second opinion. I'd have her go to whatever the closest medical school is. She doesn't have to redo all the tests. She might not even have to go there. Just have her doctor send all the tests to their doctor and say, okay, what would you recommend? Okay, because they get paid the same, whether they see you or not, whether they give you treatment or not. Whereas the doctor in your town, they want to give you every treatment they can because that's how they pay the tuition for their kids' college, right?
Right.
So I'd get a second opinion. But in the meantime, she's got a serious infection with a bug called mycoplasma. Rheumatoid arthritis is not an autoimmune disease. It's actually caused by an infection with a bug called mycoplasma. It's killable with an antibiotic called minocycline. But she's in the first trimester of pregnancy, you say?
Different person.
Oh, different person. This one's not pregnant.
Nope, this one's not pregnant.
Okay, yeah. So this one needs to take one healthy brain and heart pack per month. None of the bad foods, no fried foods, no processed meats, no oils, no glutens, no wheat, bread, rye, and oats. Okay. She needs to take one healthy brain and heart pack per month, a half a dose of everything twice a day, except for the selenium. I want her to get another bottle of our selenium, not from Walgreens, but ours because of all the cofactors in it. So you can take 3 of those twice a day. She also needs to take the killer biotic because she's got a bug, the mycoplasma, which is causing rheumatoid arthritis. She also needs to get a prescription from her doctor for minocycline. That minocycline antibiotic will kill the rheumatoid arthritis mycoplasma bug. She needs a 6 weeks prescription of that. Okay. Then she needs MSM. I'd have her take MSM, 3 of those twice a day. That'll support maintenance repair of cartilage, ligaments, tendons, connective tissue, disc between the vertebrae, joints and all that kind of stuff. And it'll rebuild her joints that have rheumatoid arthritis in them. But she's got to take the antibiotic minocycline to kill the bug. It is not an autoimmune disease. If your doctor is telling you it's autoimmune disease, change your doctors because they're ignorant. Okay, there's only one thing worse than a Nazi, and that's an ignorant doctor.
All right,
Okay.
Dr. Wallach.
Okay, and so also she needs to be taking 3 doses a day of our Fucoid Z capsules, 3 of those with each meal. Okay, support the immune system and none of the bad foods, and then get that second opinion about the surgery.
All right. Now, for those of you who have questions and you would like to ask Dr. Wallach your question directly, if you click in the Zoom menu, if you click on participants, you will find the option to be able to raise your hand. So we don't have very many hands up right now. I just want to make sure everybody knows how to do that. Go ahead, Dr. Wallach.
Yeah, let me take it for a minute or so here. I want to give you some more comparisons. This is so scary. I mean, this is so universal, you can't miss it. Let's compare Mexico with Japan. They both have 127 million people, okay? Japan and Mexico are our southern neighbor. Japan has 4,600 dead. Mexico has 142,000 dead. Mexico has 1.7 million infections. Japan has 340,000 infections. So why such a disparity in number of infections and deaths between Japan and Mexico? Well, Japan is an Asian country. They live on rice and sweet potatoes and beans. And Mexico is the biggest Latino country in the world. And they eat more white flour and flour tortillas and banaka deep fried bread than anybody on earth. That's why they have so much, okay? Okay, let's look at another one here. Let's look at Nigeria and Brazil. Both of them have about 207 million people. Nigeria and Africa, the biggest landmass in country in Africa, and Brazil, the biggest landmass country in South America. This is very dramatic. Brazil has 211,000 dead, almost 250,000, 211,000 dead, and Nigeria has 1,300 dead. Brazil has 8.5 million infections, and Nigeria has 104,000 infections.
Huge difference.
Yeah. And so what's the difference here? Well, Nigeria lives on corn, beans, okay, and squash, the 3 sisters, okay? And Brazil lives on wheat and oats. Let's look at one more here, then we can go to a caller. This one, we're going to compare India with India, okay? Because there's the population of India is very homogenous. They're the same people, same religion, 1.4 billion. Only the Chinese have maybe 200 more people than the Indians have. Both of them have 1.4 billion people. Now, India has 153,000 dead and 10.6 million infections. Okay, well, they have 29 states and 7 territories. Their northern 9 states have 95% of the deaths and 86% of the infections. Their southern 20 states and 7 territories have 5% of the deaths and only 14% of the infections. So what's that significant number difference between the North and the South? It was kind of like our country. Okay, they had a huge dietary difference, same way between Southern fried chicken and what people eat in Connecticut, right?
Right.
Clams and crabs and stuff like that. Okay, well, the same thing in India. In the northern 9 states, which has the 95% of the deaths and 86% of the infections, they live on nothing but wheat and oats. They live up in the hills and the mountains. The southern 20 states and 7 territories in India, they live on nothing but rice and sweet potatoes and seaweed. Okay, totally different. And that's why the difference. Okay, they're getting all these nutrients. They get no gluten. And so that's why I like to compare India with India. It's such a beautiful comparison. I stayed up all night one night trying to figure out why was there such a difference. I actually went to the United Nations and actually was working on them on emails. And I'm saying, do all these states eat the same thing? And they said, no. I said, ah, there it is. And so I went online, and sure enough, it was the northern 9 states were eating nothing but wheat and oats, and the southern 20 states and 7 territories were eating nothing but rice and sweet potatoes and corn and seaweed. Okay. And so that's why the difference in death rate. And of course, mainland China, 1.4 billion people, has only 4,600 dead versus 153,000 dead in India. They have 88,000 infections versus 10.6 million. And that's because they live on nothing but rice and corn and beans and seaweed.
Oh, goodness. Well, I think we need to get a clue. So, and I know that I have gotten a clue, and I appreciate so much.
Well, that's what the book, yeah, the book Immortality and the CD Beyond Immortality goes into all the things that these long-lived peoples do consciously and all what they do avoid consciously. And then, of course, the book Hell's Kitchen and the CD came out in 2003 and 2005. It'll make you weep and cry because we have all this information in there. And, you know, only the Youngevity family paid attention to it. Everybody else outside of the Youngevity family has not seen this material, although we live and breathe it. We know this as well as we know there's gravity. You know, I'm going to drop this pen, it goes down because of gravity. Okay, I don't need to look it up anymore. But everybody else out there in the world, well, we're eating well. What do you eat? Well, I have oats for breakfast, and I have, you know, flour tortillas for lunch. You know, these Mexican restaurants, and then I go 3 nights a week to Spaghetti Factory and have spaghetti. And I have, you know, German bread, whole wheat bread on my sandwiches. And then I have French toast made from German bread for breakfast. And I have the Breakfast of Champions Wheaties for breakfast and oatmeal for breakfast. And well, this is why we have this difference in this rate. It has nothing to do with race. It is not a racial thing. And all the politicians want to say it's a racial thing. It's a dietary thing.
We're breaking down those walls, Dr. Wallach.
Well, thank you for all you do. Thank you for all you do.
Love that. So here's a question for you.
Okay.
Melena her lips are always chapped, even though she takes vitamins and uses chapstick. She wants to know what's causing it, how she can prevent it. She's thinking it might have to do with her water intake, but she wants to know what your opinion is and what she should be doing in order
okay.
to get
do we know anything about her? Do we know her age and how tall she is, how much she weighs?
We don't have any other information.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I'd like to know if she has spider veins or varicose veins in her legs. I'd like to know if she has gray hair. I'd like to know how old she is. I'd like to know if she has arthritis, osteoporosis, and so forth. But people don't just get chapped lips. They have all this other stuff. But, well, I'm taking prescription for my high blood pressure. It's under control. The only thing I'm really worried about is my chapped lips, right? Okay, so the first thing she needs to do is get rid of all the bad foods so she can maximize absorption. Absolutely no fried foods, no processed meats, no oils, no gluten, no wheat, brown, rye, and oats. I want her to take 1 healthy brain and heart pack per 100 pounds of body weight. And of course, we have all these wonderful products, including Fucoid Z. I'd have her take 3 of those twice a day, the Fucoid Z. And it just, what can I say, makes you want to weep. All these people that are suffering unnecessarily, okay? All these people who are suffering unnecessarily. And we have to make sure that they know that all of their problems are related to what they eat, what they absorb, and so on. Now, I'm going to give you a couple of quick stories here, if I may.
Go ahead.
Okay, this one, this pastor, Mike Freeman, and this is the pastor of Linda Tyler, you know, who helps us all the time. You know, Linda Tyler.
Oh, yeah.
Okay, from Baltimore, Maryland. Yeah, great lady. And her pastor, who she does all kinds of stuff with. I mean, and I've given lectures there. We have a wonderful CD and DVD set called Praise the Lord and Pass the 90. And we went to his studio and we made the DVD set and the CD, Praise the Lord and Pass the 90, for this reason. He went into a coma for a year. He was into a coma for a year. Listening to his doctor, he went into a coma. He's in the hospital in a coma. And the doctors called Pastor Mike Freeman's wife and called Linda Tyler, says, come on in. You know, we've only got a couple of weeks left here. He's not going to make it. We're about the end of the string here. He's been in a coma for a year. And so Linda calls me and says, is there anything we can do? I says, does he have a G tube? She says, no, they put a tube down his throat and they're just feeding him through the tube down his throat. They won't let us put anything in there. I said, okay, here's what I want you to do. Just get a bottle of our plain unflavored minerals, you know, not the strawberry, kiwi, just plain unflavored minerals. I want you to rub 2 ounces on his legs 3 times a day, because he'll absorb it through his skin. It'll get into his bloodstream and go to his bone marrow and his brain and blood vessels and everything else. As God is my witness, Rebecca, Pastor Mike Freeman wakes up in 3 days perfectly normal after a year of being in a coma. And he goes to the studio and calls me, and I fly in there and we do this DVD and the CD, Praise the Lord and Past the 90.
Wow.
Okay, now I'm going to tell you one more story of that same magnitude. This gal calls me, this has got to be 25 years ago now. She calls me and she says, my brother Ray McGregor, you may remember the story.
Oh,
My brother Ray has just been diagnosed with, I shouldn't say that. She says he was diagnosed 15 years ago with Alzheimer's disease. And they gave him, they put him on a medication, pharmaceuticals for Alzheimer's disease. And at the 3-year mark, he goes into a coma. He's been in this coma for 8 years in this nursing home. And they're saying he's only got weeks to live and they just want to unplug him and all this kind of stuff. Is there anything we can do for him? I said, yeah, have them give you 90 days before they unplug him. Well, they're insistent because they got people who are going to live longer who need the room. I said, even if you have to pay more, whatever, get 90 days. She said, okay. I said, what I want you to do is stop giving him the Ensure, which is that oil stuff they were giving him through his G tube for 8 years, 3 times a day. I want you to give him our shake, but instead of making it with water like the recipe calls for, I want you to make it with heavy cream. I want you to soft scramble so they're still runny, 3 eggs within each of his 3 meals. I want 3 meals a day to go through that G tube, breakfast, lunch, and dinner. 3 shakes made with heavy cream. Put those 3 eggs in each one of them. I want them to have 3 of the Healthy Brain and Heart packs per month, a full dose of everything in the breakfast, lunch, and dinner. I want them to have the de-stress capsules, 3 of those with each shake. I want them to have the Ultimate Niacin Plus, 1 of those with each of the shakes. I want them to have the Ultimate Daily Classic Tablets, 3 of those with each shake. The Fucoid Z, 3 of those with each shake. And the MSM with each, 3 of those with each shake. And then call me every couple of weeks. Well, she calls me in 3 days and she's wailing and moaning and crying. I said, my brother Ray, my brother Ray, my brother. I said, oh God, I'm in trouble. He's died already on my program. I said, well, tell me about your brother Ray. She says, well, he got up this morning. He didn't realize he was in a coma for 8 years. He shaves, he gets dressed, he goes back to work at his insurance company. At the bank. Oh, it was a bank. Excuse me, it was a bank. He was a bank officer. And the place is crawling with cops because they think he's a criminal, because none of the people there now were there 8 years ago when he went into the coma. And they think he's just a clever criminal claiming he's a bank officer to rob the bank.
Oh, goodness.
In
Yeah,
3 days
I
after
love
being
that.
in a coma for 8 years. Okay. So it's amazing how much recovery capacity your body has when it gets the raw materials. I just am never, what should I say? I'm constantly just amazed at what the body can do when you give it the 90, whether you rub it on your legs like we did with Pastor Freeman, or we put it through the G2 with Ray McGregor. I just, it never fails, Rebecca. It never fails.
Yeah, the body is an amazing machine, Dr. Wallach. God didn't make any junk here. So, Dr. Wallach, let's go ahead and go to Johanna.
Okay.
And I hope I'm saying that right. It might be Jonna, but go ahead and unmute yourself.
Hello.
Okay. Hi, how are you?
Live with Dr. Wallach.
Okay, right. Hi, Dr. Wallach. I was online with you in November. And
okay, stop. Can you back away from the microphone just a little bit?
Can you hear me now? Better?
It's much better. Thank you.
Okay. Yeah, I was on with you maybe end of November.
Okay.
I am a health coach, but I'm learning. I had COVID-19. I was diagnosed November 7th. And
you're looking pretty good.
Well, November 23rd, only 7 days, I tested negative. And I have type 2 diabetes for 21 years, and I have multiple myeloma for 2 years.
Mhm.
So I think, I know, because I had so many products in this house from Z Radical.
Okay,
And,
now let me ask you, stop.
Uh-huh.
Let me ask you a couple of quick questions. How old are you?
73,
Okay, how much you weigh?
154,
Okay, and how tall are you?
5'6".
Okay. Do you have any other issues now? Any high blood pressure, diabetes, anything like that?
Well, I have diabetes for 21 years, but it's under control with pills.
Okay,
And I take sweeties too, so it's under
okay.
control.
Are you gluten free?
Yes, now I am.
Okay, good. Okay, now are you coloring your hair? Are you dyeing your hair? Or is
Yeah, well, it's great, but there's a rinse in it.
okay. Do you have any varicose veins in your legs?
No, never.
Okay, okay. Yeah, so I want you to really make sure that everybody in your household, spouse, roommate, dog, cat, bird, fish, caregiver, anybody comes to clean the house, renter, kids, grandkids, everybody's got to be drop dead gluten free. If they come to visit you and you're not gluten free, make them strip in the front yard and hose them down before they come in the house. Okay.
Yeah.
Don't let them cross contaminate you. Okay. And so you're probably doing everything right. And I would get a second opinion on that multiple myeloma. I would not do any retest, but I would have the original slides and everything they made. You know, I'm sure they did biopsies or something, right?
They did everything, and
Okay,
I'm
okay.
with my second opinion doctor now.
Okay. But I'd have them send those slides to a medical school and have them look at them and give them another diagnosis on those original biopsies. Don't do it again.
Uh-huh.
Okay. But in the meantime, for yourself and also for our listeners, at 154 pounds, I want you to take 2 healthy brain and heart packs per month, full dose everything twice a day. I want you to also to take the MSM, 3 of those 3 times a day. It'll be 2 bottles a month of the MSM to support and promote maintenance repair, cartilage, ligaments, tendons, connective tissue, disc between the vertebrae, bone, makes your bone itself, bone marrow cavity, and all that kind of stuff. I also want you to take our vitamin D3, 3 of those 3 times a day. Okay. I want you, I don't care where you live. I want you to take 3 of our vitamin D3 3 times a day.
Yeah.
That'd be 3 bottles a month. Okay. And then for type 2 diabetes, I want you to take 3 of those 3 times a day. That's 3 bottles a month. Don't cold turkey off your medication, but as your blood sugar drops, you can begin to reduce your medication because I want you to get off of that. But you can only do that when you take the sweeties. And as your blood sugar begins to drop, you can slowly reduce the medication based on the numbers. Okay. Okay. And then let's see here. Then I want you to give us a call every couple of weeks and let us know how your blood sugar is doing. I want to know what your weight is doing. Your weight's actually not bad, you know, for your height, but you know, you could lose, everybody can lose 10 pounds, right?
Yes, yeah.
But get that second opinion. I want you to throw one more thing in there, and that's our Fucoid Z until I know what this multiple myeloma really is. Is it really multiple myeloma or is it bone marrow dysplasia?
No, I'm on a pill. I'm on targeted therapy for almost 2 years. I'm on something called Revlimid.
Okay, I know, but I want to know if it's really multiple myeloma, which is a cancer of the bone marrow, or if it is really bone marrow dysplasia, which is your bone marrow is dying because it didn't have enough nutrition because you were eating gluten in the old days, right?
Yes.
Okay, so I want another opinion from the medical school. Okay, yeah, so have them send those slides. Make sure your name is on the slides. Say, I want my name on the slides. I want you to send my slides of my bone marrow biopsies to the medical school, and I want them to give me a second opinion.
Okay.
Okay, because the odds are it's really just bone marrow dysplasia, and they called it multiple myeloma because they had kids in college and the tuition was due.
Well, I've had it. They said I've had it for 2 years, so you know. So,
yeah, it doesn't matter. I want to know what if the original opinion was correct or not.
Oh, okay. And for sleep, Dr. Wallach, because now I'm having insomnia pretty bad. So I heard you mention some things.
Okay, you want 2 things. Number 1, our Sleep FX. Okay. And then our Hemp FX Relax.
Okay, that was it. Okay.
Okay. And then call us when you get the second opinion on your bone marrow biopsy, and call us, you know, every couple of weeks and let us know about your diabetes and your weight and your sleep and all that kind of stuff. You'll be a great story.
Okay, thank you very
And
much.
yeah, how do you pronounce your name?
Johanna,
Johanna. Okay, very good.
Johanna Williams.
Okay, God bless you, dear.
All right, you
Bye-bye.
too. Thank you.
Thank you, Johanna.
You're welcome.
All right. So Dr. Wallach, we have Anne who's writing in, and her significant other had a stroke. And she's wanting to know what vitamins and minerals and supplements that can be given to him to help with brain neuroplasticity after the stroke. He's about 200 pounds, 6 foot, and he definitely had some blood pressure issues.
Okay, so number one, there's all kinds of strokes. You can have a blood clot stroke, you can have a bleeding stroke, right? And
He
so,
does have paralysis.
okay, so he's got some residual effects, okay. Okay, very good. All right, so needs to get rid of all the bad stuff. She needs to get rid of all the bad stuff so she doesn't cross-contaminate him, right? So both of them and everybody in the household, caregiver, roommates, renters, dog, cat, bird, fish, kids, grandkids, everybody's got to be drop dead gluten-free so there's no cross-contamination in the laundry, the food preparation surfaces, the beds, the couches, the rugs, and so on. And at 200 pounds, he needs, again, none of the bad foods, no fried foods, no processed meats, no oils, no glutens, no wheat, bread, rhinos, no sugar. I want him also to take 2 healthy brain and heart packs per month, 2 healthy brain and heart packs per month. I want him to get 2 bottles a month of our MSM, so he can take 3 with each meal, to support and promote maintenance repair of cartilage, ligaments, tendons, connective tissue, disc between the vertebrae, bone mixture, bone itself. I want him to get 3 bottles a month of our Ultimate Daily Classic tablets, so he can take 3 with each meal to support healthy blood pressure and healthy blood flow through blocked arteries. Okay. Then I want him to take the Fucoid Z, 3 of those twice. He has 2 bottles a month to support and promote the immune system and support all kinds of functions, including the brain. But I want him to also have de-stress capsules, 3 of those twice a day, 2 bottles a month. I want him to have the Synaptive, 3 of those twice a day. That's 2 bottles a month. And the Synaptive give the brain cells the raw materials they need to make biochemistry so they can talk to each other. Okay, called Synaptive. I want to have 3 of those twice a day. And then call us, every couple of weeks or every Friday if she wants, and let us know what's going on with this guy so we can walk him through it. 200 pounds at 6 foot is about right. But he needs 3 eggs twice a day with soft yolks. Hard-boiled eggs won't count. And if his doctor says he can't have eggs because of cholesterol, we're going to put him on statin drugs. That doctor should go to jail and you should get a second doctor, okay? Get away from that one. It's kind of like your mechanic saying, don't waste your money on oil in your car.
Right.
Just get dirt from Texas and put it in your car. There's bound to be some dirt in that, or some oil in that dirt is from Texas. An insane person wouldn't do that to their car. When a doctor says, oh, you got to get off of eggs because of cholesterol. Oh, I got to get off of eggs because of cholesterol. That doctor is going to kill you. And if you don't have Alzheimer's disease, you're going to get it. If you don't have ED, you're going to get it because 95% of testosterone is made from cholesterol. So your significant other may also need to have some Xera test, XERA-test, 3 of those twice a day, and along with the 3 eggs twice a day with soft yolks. And that'll help him with his sex life also.
All right. Now, so I just want to remind everybody and thank everybody for joining us with the Ask Doc Live show here on Fridays, every Friday, 8 a.m. to 10 a.m. Pacific time, where we're able to come together as a community, support each other, and get information from the doctor himself, Dr. Joel Wallach. And the next person with their hand up, we do request that you turn your video on, please. I'm going to ask you to unmute yourself, Mummy. You will be live with Dr. Wallach. And okay. Can you turn your video on, please?
What's her name?
Mummy.
Mummy?
Yeah.
Okay. Are you Egyptian?
No, I'm a
Okay.
Nigerian.
Okay. Okay, all I'm seeing is a silhouette here, and just white dots. I don't see any person. I don't see anything. I don't hear anything.
Yeah,
Mommy
Mommy,
doesn't have. her
Okay, now,
camera on.
okay, now I
that
hear
was
noise.
Ruth Ellen. So let's see
I
if,
see Ruth Ellen. I hear noise.
Hi.
so Mommy, if you could please turn your video on. I did send a request to turn your video on. That would be greatly appreciated. So Dr. Wallach can give you the
Oh,
most accurate information. There we go. Thank you so much. Go ahead and
oh,
ask your
you can
question.
see me now.
Oh,
Yes,
now
ma'am.
I see
Okay.
you. Oh, no, now
Oh,
you don't look
that's
like you're from
great.
Nigeria, Rebecca.
I'm a
No.
Nigerian
Okay.
living in US,
How much do you weigh and how old are
Dallas.
you? How
Oh,
much do you weigh and how old are you?
I'm 78 years old and I weigh 138.
Okay. What's your problem?
I'm a diabetic. I've been a
Okay.
diabetic for 10 years now, and I'm on metformin
Mm-hmm.
2 times a day. But
Anything
right
else?
now,
What else
I,
you got? What else you got?
I, I, I visit the toilet to pass urine so many times in a day.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
About and at night about
Or do you drink tea or
3 times a
coffee?
night.
Do you drink tea or coffee?
I drink tea. I drink tea.
Okay, you need
I
to
drink
stop
tea.
you need to stop drinking tea because the caffeine in there will make you go to the bathroom a lot. Okay. So here's what I want you to do.
Okay.
At 138 pounds, you got to give up all the bad foods. No fried foods, no processed meats, no oils, no glutens, no caffeine, no sugar. Okay, no caffeine. You can drink decaffeinated coffee. We have decaffeinated coffee. You can drink decaffeinated tea. Okay, but I want you to take one healthy brain and heart pack per month. One healthy brain and heart pack per month. I want you to get another bottle of our selenium with the cofactors in it. So you can take 3 of those twice a day. 1 bottle of our selenium comes with the healthy brain and heart pack per month. I also want you to get 2 bottles of our sweeties. So you can take 3 sweeties at breakfast, 3 sweeties at dinner time. Do not stop your medication. Okay. Now, as your blood sugar begins to drop slowly, you can reduce your medication based on the numbers. Don't just cold turkey off the medication. Okay. But you got to get away from caffeine and coffee and tea. All right. And then I also, let's see here, would like you to have, let's see here, 2 healthy brain and heart packs. No, I said, no, one of those, I said that. I want you to have 2 bottles a month of the Ultimate Daily Classic tablets. You can take 3 of those twice a day. That'll help you also with blood pressure and also blood flow through blocked arteries. And the reason why, when you have blocked arteries in your kidneys, it'll release a hormone called renin, which makes your blood pressure go up. Okay. And you really have to stay away from wheat, butter, and oats. Okay, no flat bread, no fried bread, no oatmeal for breakfast. There are no such things as gluten-free oats. No oatmeal.
Okay, I've been taking a lot of oatmeal.
No. Okay, no oatmeal.
Okay.
That's your problem. There's your problem. Got to give it up. And then call us every couple of weeks. Let us know what your blood sugar is. Let us know what your weight is. Let us know if getting off the gluten. See, you have to get rid of the gluten, whether it's wheat or oats or barley or rye. Okay. You can't eat oatmeal.
Okay.
Okay, mommy. Call us every couple
All
of
right.
weeks.
Thank you.
Okay.
Bye.
Bye-bye.
Appreciate. Bye.
All
You s-
right. Thank you
You
so
see how
much.
people get on the wrong rail? They get told that there's no gluten in oatmeal and oats,
Yep.
and they get on the wrong track.
Well, we've been told for so long that it's good for us, Dr. Wallach. Whole grain, whole grain, whole grain. Oh my
Well,
goodness.
we blame it on the Scottish because they're the ones that introduced wheat to the Native Americans in the 1860s. It was kind of like them giving blankets from dead people from the smallpox and wondering why they're all dying of smallpox. Okay.
Right, right. Now, John just made a comment, and he uses organic brown rice as his oatmeal. So just steam that all up and.
Cannot have oatmeal.
No. He uses brown rice instead of oatmeal now.
Instead of oatmeal. Yeah. Brown rice is fine.
Yeah.
Doesn't matter. Brown rice, wild rice, white rice, yellow rice, red rice. The only rice you cannot have, there is one rice that will kill you, and that is fried rice.
There you go.
Cannot have fried rice.
All right. So Sherry's dad is 83 years old, 5'8", 170 pounds. He has some arthritis in his hip, back, knee, hand. He does do 15 pull-ups a day, but he has Bartlett's esophagus, prostate issues, and he has skin growing on one retina of one eye and a cataract in the other.
Okay, here we go. None of the bad foods, no fried foods, no processed meats, no oils, no glutens, no wheat bran around with some sugar. You ever heard that before, Rebecca?
I think I've heard it once today.
Then at 170 pounds, he needs 2 healthy brain and heart packs per month, full dose everything twice a day. He needs the MSM. I'd have him take 3 of those 3 times a day. That's 2 bottles a month to support and promote maintenance repair of cartilage, ligaments, tendons, connective tissue, disc between the vertebrae, bone breaks your bone itself. And because he has prostate issues, I'd have him get 2 of the ProstFX bottles a month, so he can take 3 of those twice a day. I also want him to take the Zera test at his age and with the prostate issues, get 2 bottles of Zera test per month, so he can take 3 of those twice a day. It'll give the Sertoli cells in his testicles the nutrients they need to make more testosterone. And then I need to know, by next week, if he has ringing in the ears, does he have tinnitus, ringing in the ears? Does he have balance problems? Because I want to know what's going on with the eyes. Okay. So I need to know what's going on in his head. Does he have osteoporosis of the skull? Because he's got a lot of bone issues going on there, which we're going to deal with here. Also, he needs to take 3 of the vitamin D3 3 times a day. That's 3 bottles a month for vitamin D3. And then call us every week and give us an update, because Sherry's dad is suffering from what many middle-aged men and women suffer from. And of course, they go to 3 or 4 different doctors. They're getting a total of 5 different prescriptions, but insurance is paying, so who cares? But they're highly susceptible to the pandemic virus because all of these are nutritional deficiencies. Their bone marrow is dead. They cannot make antibodies or white blood cells to defend themselves. They're probably getting an iron shot and a B12 shot every week. And the doctor's talking about maybe a bone marrow transplant. You understand what I'm saying? There's more to this than what we're hearing here. And so when you get this picture, all this other stuff is going on. And if they don't deal with it, something bad is going to happen with the pandemic virus. So you need to get rid of all the bad stuff, take all the good stuff, and wouldn't hurt to change doctors.
So, as I'm listening and I hear people with so many different conditions, in your research, you found that there's over 900 different diseases that are specifically related to mineral deficiencies.
Well, to vitamin and mineral deficiencies.
Vitamin and minerals.
Yeah.
And when the body is missing on things, it's not just one cell of one organ that's having problems, it's the whole body.
Exactly. Now, this was first discovered about 250, 300 years ago by the British. Now, they didn't know the names of these things, but all the sailors on these ships, all they were getting was salt pork, and they were happy. They were getting salt, which they loved. They're getting pork. They're getting meat 3 times a day. They are happy campers. But they were all dying of what was called scurvy. Okay?
Yep.
But they had 4 or 5 or 6 or 8 or 10 other diseases, but they blamed everything on scurvy. Okay? Well, about 150 years ago, one sea captain had a little lime orchard in his backyard, and his wife sent him off at the beginning of summer, or maybe it was the fall. I guess it was the fall, when all the limes were ready to be picked. She sent him off with a basket of limes, and he goes off to his 3-month sea voyage, and he's sharing his limes with his officers and some of his main sailors. Comes back in 3 months. He says, this is the first time in all these years in 3 months on the sea that we haven't had one case of scurvy. So he started telling other sea captains about that. And so they started giving all their sailors limes, and they started no more scurvy. Now, why did they call the British limeys?
Because of the limes.
Because of the limes, because they were giving it to all their sailors to prevent scurvy. And then they found out about beriberi and pellagra. Now, beriberi is due to a different vitamin deficiency. Pellagra is due to a different vitamin deficiency. Rickets is due to a different vitamin deficiency. But they were blaming all that stuff originally on scurvy. But they found out, well, once we got rid of scurvy, there's all these other things. We get rid of that one, we get rid of this, and so forth. But it was about 150, 200 years ago, they began to figure it out because that one sea captain's wife gave him a basket of limes.
Now, I have a lot of people that say that they can't eat citrus, and they've got all these different.
Well, you get vitamin C in lettuce and cabbage and celery and all kinds of green leafy things.
And beyond tangerine.
Yeah.
That's my favorite. That's my favorite source of vitamin C right there. Although I do like to eat the others. I know what I'm getting when I drink the Beyond Tangy Tangerine.
Yeah, it's right on the label.
It's right on the label. And it's tested. All right, Dr. Wallach, I need you to put your veterinarian hat on.
Okay.
So Robert has a cat who's 5 pounds. She's 8 years old, and she's just been laying around not wanting to eat. He wants to give her the supplementation, but with her not eating, he doesn't know exactly how to do it.
Okay.
So what would your recommendation be?
Okay, well, she needs, at 5 pounds, she needs a quarter of a scoop of the Arthrodex a day. I would also give her one of our ultimate dailies, the big yellow tablets.
Mm-hmm.
Give her one of those a day. Open her mouth, put her down her throat, and hug her. And then I would also give her, she can't spit it up. No, put it down her throat and rub her throat. And when she swallows it, hug her and kiss her and all that kind of stuff. But give her one of those a day. And then give her a quarter of a scoop of the Arthrodex in some water or some milk or whatever the cat likes to drink. Okay. And it wouldn't hurt to give it one of the EFA pluses with fish oils for the omega-3s. And if the cat, you can also just plop one of those down her throat a day. Give her the Ultimate Daily tablet at breakfast, and give her the, let's see here. Yeah, yeah, the CFA, the plus, okay, EFA plus, give it fish oil, give it in the afternoon.
Okay.
Don't give it at the same time. Okay.
All right. We'll split the doses. Well, Dr. Wallach, we are coming up to the top of the hour, the end of the time that we get to spend with you every Friday. I just want to make sure everybody knows that Dr. Wallach has so much incredible research, and he has taken the time to write so many books and have so many things published that there is absolutely no reason for anybody, especially on this call, to say they didn't know. They didn't know the importance of minerals. They didn't know the importance of vitamin. They didn't know why gluten was so bad for you. And we invite you to share this program with everybody that you care about. Everybody. We've got, Hell's Kitchen, his most popular books you can find at askdoclive.com. All the other publications, he has his own personal website at DRJ Wallach, that's WALLACH.com. And we want to make sure that, this message gets out. It is so important. It is so life-changing. You could make an impact on the lives of those that you love, those in your community. And when sharing the products, especially if you're on them, you've got great results, why not share them? We do have a business opportunity that is available to you that you can write off all of your products that you're taking. It's only, it's very minimal cost to get started.
Wall Street for Kids tells you how to do that.
Yes, Wall Street for Kids. I've got that for my son that I've read myself as well. Great book. And so we just invite you to join our crusade. So if you're currently on products, you can get with the distributor that's been helping you out and say, hey, I want to be part of your team and get on this crusade.
Also, Rebecca, if they sign up, I will give them for free $500 worth of sales and business building support material. Every time they renew every year, I will give them $500 free worth of sales and business building materials.
Yeah, and that includes the website, Dr. Wallach. Yep. They don't have to build their own website. It's already built for them. They don't have to keep inventory. Longevity takes care of that, keeps it fresh, shipped right from the warehouse, which is actually incredible. Because when I thought of distributor, I'm thinking, oh goodness, am I going to have a warehouse of product and then ship to mine house? And no, I use my website, place their order, ship it right to them. They get it fresh. And Longevity also takes care of the credit card processing. We don't have to have our own machines for that. So it's an amazing opportunity. When they say turnkey business, this is truly a turnkey business. And I know there's a few distributors on this. I like to call them health coaches because we do have a program that really helps you learn about the products and so that you have a better understanding of it. So Dr. Wallach, thank you again. We know you gotta go. Have a fabulous day. See you next week. And again, everybody, thank you so much for joining us at AskDocLive.com. You can call 855-949-RADIO if you are brand new and have never tried the products before, or you can go to our website and we do have a store there, or go back to that email that invited you to this program and reply to that email, and we have somebody waiting to help you as well. Have a fabulous day, and we will see you next week. On behalf of myself, Rebecca Kozak, my co-host, Jonty McCollier, Nasima Omar, and Ruth Ellen Sanchez, have a very, very blessed and prosperous week. Bye for now.